the central channel. Have you heard of like the Shushumnadi central channel? So in your gross body, that relates to your spinal column. Does that kind of ring a bell? So as the Shushumnadi collapses, our subtle consciousness tends to decrease. As our gross body, Shushumnadi, opens up, the ease of circulation through our subtle channel, central channel, and the chakras and everything that's kind of put into analogy there tends to improve. Our ability to work with it improves. A person may still have their individual issues and still have to do their work, but the ease of that work tends to increase. For the gross body, when the central channel, the spinal column, begins to collapse, so does a lot of our physiology on the inside. So if you slouch a whole bunch and you try to take a deep breath, it's not very efficient. If you slouch a whole bunch for a long period of time, I'll show you a slide in a little while. It actually relates a little bit to this picture down here. These lines of really intense fascia connection begins to adapt. And as an organism, we're very, very adaptive. In other words, if you hurt yourself, you'll limp and you'll adapt to it, and eventually you'll create scar tissue, and you may even create a difference in bone density and stuff like that. You'll adapt to it, but you don't actually correct the situation. So we're very, very adaptive. Connective tissue, muscle, veins, arteries, cognitive. You change your motor map. I don't know if you've ever done this on the yoga mat, but a teacher will say, do something, and you'll be like, all right, yeah, I'm doing it, and they'll come by and they'll like move you, and you'll be like, I thought I was doing that. So there's a conscious part of it. You begin to believe that you are doing something in a particular way. So you even adapt. You begin to fool yourself, and you're like, I am. And you'll adapt to that. You'll adapt even to your adaptation. And this creates kind of a spiraling effect that you're either spiraling for a more positive direction or spiraling into a more negative direction. Postural collapses and adaptations don't improve on their own. So almost all the yoga stuff that you can look at, whether it's meditation or asana or pranayama or mantra or japa, or even looking at pictures and meditating on them, stuff like that, all of those are not just letting nature take its way with you, but it's coming in and saying, I decide that I'm going to do this part so that I tune in with nature from my unique individual place. So when we start to look at yoga postures, we can look at it like, okay, what's a local action that helps this whole global thing? And this is where we get into some of the mechanics. It's pretty intricate. On the muscle chains, for the teaching side, if you can identify the weakest link in that chain, and for the purpose of teaching, come up with the simplest way to help students turn up the flow of prana in that one area so that they could function better. We just addressed the weakest link in the global thing that would help the entire global thing. And that's, if you're going to start to do more intricate work on the mat, besides just sequence, then you start to look like what's the one thing that would help a person do this pose or even this entire sequence. And so you increase the function with a local thing and a global concept.